Valentina Lisitsa, thank you very much for being with us here on Klassik TV in Leipzig in the Klavierhaus Michael Viech. And the reason for our talk is your new album. It's the Etüdes. It's the 24 great Chopin Etüdes, then the symphonic studies from Schumann, and then the Trois Nouvelles Etüdes from Chopin as well. So you already did the DVD in the year of 2004 with the Chopin. What is the difference between the Chopin 10 years ago and now, the 24 Etüdes?
Well, one is homemade production, made for DVD, of course, with all the available modern technology of 10 years ago, which, of course, being in TV business, you know what it is. It's like being in a cave, done on good piano, not in home production. And, I'm 10 years older, so I have some different things to say in Etüdes. I also added Schumann, which is not even on YouTube. It's like a completely secret product, plus Nouvelle Etude, which I learned, frankly, just for the recording. I've never played them since. Maybe I will.
So I had the impression when I heard this, so on the CD there's not the three Nouvelle Etudes because it's not enough time.
Yes,
not
run
space.
out of space.
But on the digital album there's it on it as well. So I think it's really interesting, but I had the impression that the 24 Etudes, they're like a wild ride on a horse, very emotional. Mm-hmm. Then there's the Schumann, which is a bit, I thought, a bit more with the intellectual part, mm-hmm. taking you back in your virtuosity, being more into the quiet emotion maybe. And then there's the end, the Trois Nouvelles Etudes. I found, for me, it was like after a sprint, you had the rest of the run. Maybe was it like this for you?
So let's put it after dinner drink. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, first of all, I had no idea which order it would be, particularly on digital. Two, I don't listen to my own recordings, so I don't know how it feels. It's nice that you're describing it in positive way. It's not like you would say, oh, first she plays those 24 Chopin Etudes really fast, and then comes this really loud Schumann, and then there are some strange little pieces. That's good. No, for Etudes, this mix, I did want to record 24 Chopin Etudes. I felt that people, my YouTube audience, grew to know me by those Etudes. And as I got so many more people, new audience, I wanted them to know me a little bit from the positive side, rather, than playing in a blue dress in Miami house, and so on. So I wanted to do Chopin Etudes. Of course, they're roughly, 60 minutes or so. And of course, the company, Decca, suggested that we do something else to fill in the disc. And of course, their first suggestion was to do Nouvelle Etude. And I said, oh, but everybody does it. It's so boring. Basically, I was looking for an excuse to get myself out of learning 3 more Etudes. Say, oh, no, you should do it. And then as I was listening, I was working on Etudes, on Chopin, and I was listening to Carto, because, he is God, he's somewhere with music. And then I was listening also to his Etude Symphonique, Schumann. And besides being absolutely smitten, blown away by the way he plays them, I realized that there, in his performance, I think 23 minutes or so. And I said, we can fit it. It will be, if I play Etudes like he does, which I tried, to copy him, so it would be 60 minutes plus 23 minutes, so we're talking full disc. Well, I didn't succeed to be playing Etudes as fast as Carto, total failure. But we ended up with having 2 sets of Etudes, Etude Symphonique and 24 Etudes on a CD.
talking about your YouTube career, because you mentioned it, because of the Etüds. They were the first big hit on your YouTube channel, because you're known, or the media calls you the first classical music YouTube star. I mean, you have more than 50 million views.
82.
82. Yeah, in 2012 it was 50 million, of course. Yeah. Now more than 82. That's enormous for a classical musician, even for a musician non-classical.
Very little for funny cat videos.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, maybe you should do funny cat.
I did funny dogs video, and
but
it's not
work?
nearly as popular as Shostakovich sonata.
Oh my God!
Yes.
That was the reason to load your Chopin Etudes up, because there was an illegal upload, wasn't it?
Oh, hundreds of them, and probably, I would maybe, if I was back then there at young age, like those kids, I would do some, because people who would buy that DVD, and it was, as I said, it's homemade production, but as any, small business starting new thing, between myself and my husband, and before that we used to be piano duo, so now he became cameraman, sound man, everything. So we thought, we're going to sell so many of those discs, because there is just no such product, there is no DVD. There are CDs so people can hear, but people cannot see how it's made. And we put it on Amazon, you could sell directly. And yes, we sold few copies, and they promptly ended up being uploaded by grateful buyers, who probably liked them very much, on YouTube. And as any business, my day would start with going to YouTube, searching on my name, finding uploaded videos, and reporting each one for deletion. But you delete 10, 100 more comes in, you delete 100,000 more. At some point I was so fed up with it, I said, to heck with it, we're not selling anything in any case, we're not making any money. Why don't we just upload the entire thing and stop doing it, because it's useful. So that's what we did. So we uploaded them one piece after another. On Amazon they have ratings of sales, and suddenly this homemade DVD of Chopin Etudes was #1 on Amazon in music. And again, it's like with YouTube, numbers by itself, they mean nothing, because now we see that CD can, classical CD can be #1, selling 200 copies a week. But what was more telling is that this DVD of Chopin Etudes was ahead of DVD of Baby Einstein, these things that parents buy for their children. And that was a big thing, because I knew what Baby Einstein was. My child owned all of them. And I knew, that was a must-to-have thing that everybody bought. So it was stunning success. So we reprinted, and it was selling. And that was an eye-opening experience on YouTube, because after all, being on YouTube or being on major recording label, when you record something, your main business as musician is being on stage, performing live concert. Everything else, it's nice, but it's to get people in, to bring people to concert hall. And what's better way, just having it on YouTube available for everybody.
So one could say that, as you had it, your way was the perfect way to use YouTube to gain your audience and to reach your people, to bring them to the concert hall. This concert in Royal Albert Hall, I think 2012, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where you let the audience decide what to play.
But also it was my first big concert after YouTube, because of YouTube. Because when I got call from Royal Albert Hall, and it was 5,500 people venue to start with, and they were quite frank. They saw my success on YouTube, and they wanted to see how it translates into ticket sales. Just very literally. They say, we don't care what you do, what you play, just let's see how many people you can bring. And it was advertised online through social media. So I worked hard day and night, trying to let my YouTube audience know that it's happening. And at the end, there were people coming, I think, like from, I don't know how many, 35 or so different countries. They traveled from Australia, from Japan, from China, from Argentina, from Chile, from places I didn't know there are fans on YouTube, like Vanuatu. Yeah, so strange things. And they all came to London to see their favorite YouTube artist, basically coming out from the screen because they always saw me on computer screen and becoming a live pianist. So that was quite an interesting experience for all of us.
That's really interesting. Did you communicate with your audience? I mean, did you just upload the videos and that's it, or did you comment, or did you talk to,
Yes.
write, chat with them?
Yes, because I think where YouTube differs from anything else, you have Facebook, Twitter, all those things. You can talk on those things, but you cannot really talk about music. It's not music-centered. YouTube gives you almost immediate opportunity. Real time, it's not real time, but if I upload video, people know that I'm there. I'm there literally at the screen because I just uploaded it. So they all rush with their questions, whatever random questions they could be, and they know that I'm there to respond. So we start conversation going, and it's about music, it's about different kinds of interpretation, and then you just see people just talking. It is kind of like a party. You are inviting your guests, and once you start conversation going, they just sit there and chat. You don't need to push them to do anything. So that's things that differs YouTube from anything else. And you can see, some people are, of course, they are very unbuttoned when they're in privacy of their home behind the avatar. And I endured lots of criticism, fairly or unfairly. So it helps you develop thick skin. You don't react, to every little thing with negativity. But also, people discover for themselves, and with trial and error, with arguments, sometimes heated arguments, sometimes ugly argument, what they like, they defend their point of view, why they like, for example, Glenn Gould, but not Horowitz, why they like Richter or dislike Richter, and so on. So it's very interesting, and it's very music-centered in a way.
And did you optimize your videos like for search engine optimization? So like you did some tags or something so that people can find it better than other Chopin videos, or was it just...
Not at all, not at all. It should be self-discoverable. So a lot of people, when they would tell me later on, that, they know me because I'm everywhere on YouTube. Well, it's not everywhere, but the higher you get in search, in numbers, so Google robot suggests this video. It has nothing to do with manipulation or anything. Actually, I started tagging videos only I learned how to do it last year. But I don't think it changes anything. Okay, so I put a video, so I put tags, okay, Marta Argerich, Pogorelych, Richter. What does it do? People will not be, if they search for Marta Argerich, they're not going to look at my video if they don't want to. If they want to, it's different.
So this is a good example for the positive side of YouTube. But what about the dark side? What do you think of the dark side, the negative side, whatever, because of piracy and all this stuff? What is your opinion about that?
Piracy, it's difficult to address the question because I understand the concern of so many owners of intellectual products, what's happening, and I've been there and I know it. So even now, from time to time, I go and I bust people who copy my video, but for different reason. And I openly say it, I give them warning, and then I say, please take it away because you did it without asking. And I feel kind of a responsibility, okay, I can let them, copy my videos and be done with it. After all, they're helping me to promote it. But at the same time, if you go to upload something on YouTube, and YouTube form asks, do you own rights for it? And I know that if somebody, takes little video and they put it and they check the box, yes, I own all the rights to it, so they lied in little way. For reasons of piracy, we wouldn't have half of recordings that we even have them on YouTube, of course, but audio recordings of Richter, Horowitz, you name them, from people pirates of 20th century, who went with their little recording equipment and they recorded live concerts. Yeah. We would totally miss it.
You're on your line with your opinion about the Ukraine conflict, and on Twitter and everywhere. Yes. The pro-Russian opinion in the Ukraine is hard to understand. What is your opinion about?
Look at Valentina Lisitsa. She left Ukraine as a child. She lived in the United States, and now she is #1 Putin supporter. okay, find one tweet which would qualify me as Putin supporter. Because, being negative about one's own country or being negative about what other countries do does not necessarily mean that you support somebody else. With Ukraine, of course, there is a lot of pain inside that people of the space feel, both on Ukrainian, pro-Russian side, all those sides. And I started talking on Twitter the things that I say because I want to give the other point of view, just balancing the way, because now what we see, one side is nice and fluffy, another side is all villainous and black. And everybody forgets people in the middle, individuals. So that's what I do.
Okay, that's a clear statement. Let's talk about your upcoming concerts here. What's coming next?
Well, now we're in Leipzig, so I'm playing here with MDR and with Christian Jarvik, Greek Concerto. I also do late night concerts at Symphony Set, and I think it's called Late Night Lounge or something like that. So I guess it's more for, to make classical music cool. So for young people, a little bit less formal. After that, I go and record some Scriabin. After Scriabin, I go to Rio de Janeiro and play a recital. And that finishes my year because I fly back from Rio on Christmas Day. Then I have rest between Christmas, New Year, and then the marathon starts again.
Yeah, well, I wish you great energy and luck for that. And thank you very much for this nice interview.
Thanks.